Hello and welcome back to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and it's just me today. Hopefully Kneon will be back later this evening with a video, but for now he's someplace else, so you're getting me. Today we're going to talk about Captain America Brave New World, Captain America 4, however you want to refer to it as. Apparently now, there already were rumors of reshoots, but now we know there's going to be at least 22 days of reshoots, and now they're bringing Giancarlo Esposito in to play a new villain, or to add him as a villain into the film. So we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please like and subscribe. If you do, I'll give you a woohoo, woohoo, and we're going to talk about this. So yeah, apparently now we're going to have 22 days of reshoots for this movie that wrapped up filming last year. Like, it was filming in spring of 2023 and it got it done before the strikes happened. So it was definitely spring. And now they're going back and they're doing a whole bunch. I guess they're adding action sequences. Giancarlo Esposito is appearing on the call sheet. He's probably going to be a villain from the way it sounds. Honestly, I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anyone because it was kind of already shaping up to seem like a bit of a train wreck in the first place. But the Hollywood Reporter is the one who reported this initially. They're talking about how they began a new round of additional photography with a new actor and in the cast. I'm sorry, but after you completely shoot a film, having it rewritten, which I think they brought the Moon Knight guy in to rewrite some of it. After the fact, after you run it with test audiences who didn't like it, and then you're going to change the whole villain in it or add a new villain to it, does not sound promising. This is probably going to actually do more damage because people are probably like, what the heck, this movie must suck really bad. So they said it's going to run, the new shooting is going to run 22 days. Along with added elements will be some new action sequences, and that Julia Sana, or how you say that name, I know, remains the director. They said they wrapped up print photography in spring of 2023. It stars Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson and takes up the mantle of Captain America. It got done ahead of the writers and actors strikes. However, because of that, they wrapped up principal photography, but the strikes then ended up causing issues that they couldn't work on it more. So what they did was, originally it was supposed to have the July 26, 2024 slot that now Deadpool and Wolverine has. And I think they hurried up and wrapped that one up because they knew it had more potential and they needed something big this year from Marvel. And they pushed this movie back until February 14th of next year. And I think a big part of it was it tested so poorly and it needed so much work, and they knew they had to push it back. They have to have something big this year. The only thing they have going for them in regards to Marvel is Deadpool and Wolverine, and they absolutely have to have that this year because they cannot have another flop. And I'm not 100% convinced, I'm actually not even 50% convinced that Captain America Brave New World isn't going to suck balls. All right? So anyway, now they're doing reshoots because they got feedback from test screenings, which we've heard was terrible. People said it sucked. Now, yeah, they said the guy from Moon Knight was hired to work on the new pages of the script in December, writing over the winter. So let's get this straight. You did this movie. You wrapped it up before strikes even happened, so you can't blame it on strikes, right? You had the original shoots completely wrapped up. You had it together enough to do test screenings. It was so shit that you have to then wait till after the strikes are over, go hire a writer to work over the winter so that you can, and push the date back by months so you can reshoot a whole bunch of it over 22 days to try to make it not suck. This does not bode well. All right. It just does not bode well. They said, despite reports of multiple reshoots on the movie, so far this is the only one. It doesn't appear to be as extensive as the reshoots that faced Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which took 6 weeks, or the extensive reshoots endured by the Marvels, not that it made it any better at the box office. And they said Brave New World will cost less, significantly less than the Marvels. Again, does not instill confidence. The Marvels was a box office bomb, to say the least. It was terrible. It wasn't even a bomb. It was like a nuclear explosion that wiped out a whole continent. It was bad. Okay. It was really bad at the box office. And they're like, well, but that's okay. This movie's cheaper. And that kind of falls in line with Iger's mandates to make it cheaper. And then they know they cut some movies and maybe some shows off the Marvel slate. I know they're cutting a lot of things because their budgets are out of control. And meanwhile, movies like Godzilla Minus One, which is now on Netflix, by the way, had significantly lower budget than the Marvel films did, and it was massively better. Big budget doesn't equal good. And they're keeping it to be like some kind of like espionage thriller type movie. And I think they're doing that because they also don't have to use as many special effects. But who knows? They said there's going to be no aliens, no alien invasions, no time travel. Guys, that's how bad it is. At CinemaCon, he had to promise no aliens, no alien invasions, no time travel. And it was a relatively grounded action film. Well, it better be because it's going to be cheap. I mean, they're going to have to go with practical fights and effects. Then this is the other thing that got me. They're thinking that it's going to do well because Black lead, because of Black Panther. And that's like apples and oranges for a couple of reasons. One, Black Panther was already an established Black character. All right. He was always Black. He wasn't race bent. He wasn't gender swapped. We keep seeing the race bending and gender swapping in Marvel films and just films in general. And it just pisses people off because these actors don't even get their own character. Like they have to have like some of their characters changed. Now, granted, in the comics and stuff, I think he was Captain America. So that's not completely, removed from what could be possible. But I'm just saying normies who don't read the comics are going to be like, what the hell? So just being Black does not mean that it's going to succeed. However, they're kind of making that comment because they said some believe that in terms of potency and its relevancy, it has the potential to have similar impact as Black Panther. Black Panther came out in 2018, back when the box office was doing well. Back when Marvel was doing extremely well before, Endgame, before the end of, phase 3 and the beginning of phase 4 and all the crap they did in phase 4 till now. And people weren't checked out. Like a lot of people after Endgame said, okay, 10 years, I'm done. I think it had more to do with that. And I think it was cool that we had the Black superhero, even though contrary to what critics and idiots in the media were saying and on social media were saying, not the first Black superhero. That was just absolutely stupid to say. But I don't necessarily think you could even compare that. That's apples and oranges as well, because we are not where we were then. As far as the box office, as far as demand for Marvel. There's that Marvel fatigue thing it doesn't exist. Bullshit. I think a lot of Marvel fatigue exists because you're giving them subpar films with subpar characters. And this is just going to look as another race swap, even though there is reason that there's comic book accurate reasons that you can do this. And I don't hate the choice. I'm just saying people are going to look at that and that's what they're going to take away is, oh, it's just a race swap. All right. Sorry, but that's what they're going to do. I don't think you can bank on the fact that he's Black being the reason it does well, like Black Panther, because they're not even the same character. It's not even the same environment that it was then. It's not necessarily going to do the same. If they can fix it with Giancarlo Esposito, they might have a shot. But frankly, I don't know if even he's enough to fix this film. And the reason that they're changing the villain could even be because I have it in my article here. The Happy Meal toys came out because you have to remember, like toy releases and Happy Meals and things. When they make the deals with places like Disney and the studios, they're set to be released at certain times. Well, things happen and stuff gets pushed back. However, the toys usually stay on schedule because they had made a deal with that manufacturer and they can't just store them indefinitely. So a lot of times you'll see things get released months ahead of when a film is supposed to be released if something got pushed back or schedules got changed. As in the case of this, it was supposed to come out in July, so they were leading up into, getting people pumped for it in May. And that's what happened. And it's not even coming out till February of next year. And by then, no one's even going to remember these things. But the Red Hulk was in the toy line. And of course, that's, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, and that's being played by Harrison Ford, who's the Red Hulk. People were mad because they felt the villain was spoiled. Or they thought it was a lame choice, even though I think it's an obvious choice, given the character. And Disney might be like, oh shit, the movie's ruined because the Happy Meal toys. So let's go back and reshoot and add another villain element that's a surprise to try to gain people, wanting them to come back. Because if you already know, like, oh, and the villain's this, how predictable, it's going to turn people off as well. So I think part of it might be, because of the toy fiasco. Who the hell knows? I don't know what they can do. I don't think this movie's going to do great anyway, unless we see some trailers with magnificent footage that everybody's just so awed and wowed that they have to go see it. Given the current climate, given how people aren't going to the theaters, I just don't know if they're going to go. And the same for the Thunderbolts. I don't think it's a big, huge draw they think it is. I could be wrong, and that could change next year when we see more about it. We're still way far away from these releases. I just don't think either one's going to do great. I think Marvel's toast. I think their best shot in the next couple of years is Deadpool and Wolverine. And like Kneon thinks it's going to probably do Guardians of the Galaxy numbers. I don't know. It might do better because it's Wolverine too, but it's rated R. I think the audience is going to be limited on some regards because of that. And let's put a lot of people checked out for Marvel. But that one I think will bring people back in. We'll see what happens, but more reshoots. We're having reshoots because the testing was bad. They had to hire a new writer to rewrite this thing and rework it to add a new villain in it. Giancarlo Esposito's coming in. They're definitely making some massive changes. I don't know how it's going to go. All signs point to shit. This is not going to look good. And even if they make it better, a lot of people are already going to have their mind made up it's shit just based on the stuff leading up to the reshoots, leading up to this point. So I don't know. What do you think? Comment and let us know, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.